Hello everyone, John Small here, and we are going to be talking about business requirements and user requirements for this Ignite presentation and how they shouldn't be viewed like oil and water. Let's also break down some user research and its methods as they relate to the concepts. So we're here to debunk a UX myth that views business requirements and user requirements as enemies. It's a predetermined notion and idea that businesses and users have different goals when it comes to experience design, leaving one as a winner and one as a loser. So to start, let's set a foundation for this argument. Business requirements and user requirements are quintessential aspects of the user experience design world, so designers will need to take both into account. Specifically, business requirements are product requirements that reflect the current business practices of a company or new practices they wish to adopt. Typically, these requirements are higher level and more technical. They may overlap with user requirements, and these can be applied to any UX project. The requirements also relate to the business model, which is the plan for how the business conducts business. However the business operates and how they plan to use technical or digital products helps determine what the requirements will be. So as an example, if a pizza place offers delivery as part of their business model, they may require that their newly designed website has an order online delivery function. That business practice dictates a requirement in the product. This doesn't mean that users should be left out in the cold and be asked to cope with products built solely with business requirements in mind. They have requirements and expectations too, and they should be reflected in product design. For every private business, university, publicly traded company, or nonprofit organization, there will be users. These users are stakeholders, students, customers, single parents looking to order a pizza online, and so on. They have a wide range of goals that they are looking to accomplish with your product. It should be established that the requirements of businesses and users may overlap. For businesses, their requirements are well documented and detailed in project charters, according to Rich Crowley in an article on Greenshore. But for users, that can be a bit more complicated to figure out. Their requirements are not as organized, detailed, and well documented like the businesses. This is where the job of a user researcher comes into play. The user researcher has no small task. Mike Kuniavsky outlines their job nicely, describing it as the broadest job of all, where every aspect of the user experience places different demands and constraints on those who are trying to create a good product. User researchers have some pretty good tools at their disposal. Surveys, focus groups, interviews, diary studies, and more provide a variety of ways and methods researchers can acquire data about user requirements. This can be done through user requirements capture, which is a process used to understand the requirements a typical user would need from a service. Even with all the tools to play with, user researchers need to understand which method is best for the data they wish to collect, as all have their benefits and drawbacks. Each user is different, so the task of creating a list of user requirements can be daunting. A fundamental that lies at the core of user requirements is covered in an article by Hennig Hohenhold. The idea is called user learning. It essentially explains that positive outcomes reinforce the behavior that caused them, and negative outcomes diminish the behavior that caused them. If a website provides the necessary resources for users to accomplish their task, which is the reason they're visiting the site, then the site has a successful user experience. Success shouldn't be confused with best, as some sites by definition are usable. However, their designs may make accomplishing a task difficult. Now, user-centered design is not an exact science. F.Eli Chang-La writes that UX is seen as something desirable, though what exactly something means remains open and debatable. That idea combines with the fact that every UX project has its own unique requirements. Thus, researchers should know why you are collecting data. This brings us back to our different types of requirements. The ultimate factor in the success of usability design is that both business requirements and user requirements are addressed to some point. An online product should check all of the requirements set by the business and also meet the expectations that its various users may have. Users need to be aware that a company's business model will not necessarily change just because they are offering services online. Therefore, online functions the user may desire will not find a home on that company's site, unless the business is planning to adopt new practices. This means that users will still see pop-ups, be asked to subscribe, and be subject to viewing advertisements. The users should understand that those elements are present because business dictates it. In the grand scale of things, a high-quality user experience is best for both business and users. Thus, business and user requirements shouldn't be adversaries. They are important pieces of a whole. The myth of their incompatibility is rooted in their terms, but not reflected in practice. Both contribute to the same end goal of a good UX design. It is possible both can live in harmony. Here are my works cited. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.